Traditionally, when a Buddhist monk or Buddhist teacher is invited to some establishment or some opening, he is requested to do some pujas. Pujas is based on Lord Buddha's teachings of the 7 limbs. The 7 limbs consist of inviting the Buddha, praising the qualities of a Buddha, not just the Buddha, but a Buddha, which means an enlightened being. And also it is rejoicing in other people's positive work, and it's also making offerings of generosity, of mental generosity, and also physical generosity. It's also a confession of one's transgressions to an enlightened being, such as a Buddha, any Buddha. In Buddhism, we don't believe that there is one Buddha, because on the simple scriptural logic that the Buddha taught that all others can become a Buddha. So it would be illogical to think that there is only one Buddha. But having said that, all of us accept the historical Buddha. Whether we believe him to be a savior or an enlightened being is besides the point. There is a historical Buddha. But the historical Buddha, or Lord Siddhartha Shakyamuni, taught a doctrine that we all can achieve this enlightened state. Hence, during the time of the Buddha and during his life, many people became liberated and many people became enlightened. At the same time, after his passing, many people became enlightened and liberated. There's a difference between liberation and enlightenment. There's a difference. So, hence, all his teachings, if we practice correctly from our heart and we do it sincerely, definitely we all can become a Buddha, a fully enlightened being. Hence, there are many Buddhas. So when we do the 7 limbs, we can generate our faith or generate our aspirations toward any of the enlightened beings. And Buddha doesn't need to always appear as a tall, golden Indian man with a blue top and long ears. He can appear as many enlightened beings in the world. He can appear as saints within the Islamic faith. He can appear as Hindu saints. He can appear as modern-day saints, such as people like Mother Teresa, because actions speak louder than words. So within the 7 limbs that we perpetuate a enlightened being, within that is confession, rejoicing, inviting, requesting the wheel of the Dharma to be turned, and rejoicing, etc., etc. So all pujas are based on the 7 limbs. All pujas, whether they're 3-day long, they're 1 day long, they're half a day long, or just a few minutes of recitation, they're all based strictly on the 7 limbs. Material happiness is not the only way we can bring benefit to others. Material happiness. Sometimes people may be materially advanced or wealthy, and they have everything, name the position, with respect to everyone. But inside, they may be unhappy, and they don't know why. And that's where any type of religious thought or religious philosophy can help people become happy. How is that? How does religion help another person become happy? How does religion help a person to become happy? Very simple. We cannot change the world, although many people have tried or many people would like to. The Prophet Muhammad was here. They're still killing and murder. They're still lying. Jesus Christ was here. They're still murder and killing. Krishna was here. Buddha was here. They're still killing, murder, and lying, deceit. So, is it that what they said was ineffective? No. Was it that what they taught and what they advised all of us was not the truth? Definitely not. Definitely not. But if we learn our individual religions correctly, and the key word here is correctly, if we learn our individual religions correctly and well, then our perspective of people, the world, our surroundings, and events change. When our perspective changes, then everything in the world changes. If that's not true, check the times that you were depressed in your life, unhappy or confused, or you needed advice or help, and someone with wisdom, someone with experience, someone came along and talked to you and gave you advice. Did you become happy after their talk? But you have to understand, the whole situation didn't change. Whatever you were unhappy or depressed about did not change. It didn't change. But your view of it has changed. Your perspective of it has changed. If we expect people to change overnight, we expect situations to change, the weather to change, we expect the stock market to change overnight. It's not possible, is it? It's not possible. But if we change our view, we change our thought, enemies become friends or neutral. Negative situations become tolerable. Depression changes to hope. Sadness becomes happiness if our perspective changes. Now, having said that, only having listened to, for example, in this case, the Buddha's teachings, our perspective will not change immediately. What we need to do is we need to listen and read and contemplate and think about it. And contemplate and think about and apply it. And once we see the logic behind it, and we change our perspective, everything will change. Everything will change. You achieve mini moksha. Moksha is freedom from samsara. You achieve mini moksha. So what happens is, in Buddhism, with respect to everyone here, in Buddhism, what's more important is not going to a god or a deity or a protector or a powerful being. It's not to go to these people and ask them for favors and tell us or help us or ask them what to do for us. That's not the situation. We don't go to a temple to Buddha and say, please give me money. Please give me a beautiful wife. Please may my husband slim down and stop playing golf and pay attention to me. Please may I become wealthy. That's not why we go to a temple. Imagine if you're God. Imagine if you're Buddha. Just visualize everything that the people always ask you every day. Just visualize what they ask you every day. Can I get rich? Can I get healthy? Can I get well? Can I become better? Can my business flourish? Can my enemies go away? Think about it. This is what imagine Kuan Yin in the temple. She's standing there. This is what she hears all day long. It's very rare that a person comes up to Kuan Yin and say, you know what? Please help me to become a kinder person so I can benefit others. If you said that, Kuan Yin statue will open up and speak to you. Maybe. It hasn't happened to me yet, but maybe. Imagine if you go to a holy, sacred mosque and say to God, I don't want money. I don't want a beautiful wife. I don't want more food. I want to be a much more kinder and better person so I can be a benefit to others. The mosque might tremble a little. Because most of the time when we go to a mosque or a temple or a church, what do we ask for? May our enemies go away. May I get wealth. It's always about me, myself, me, and myself. And that's what's happening in today's so-called modern world. We are using religion as another means to fulfill our selfish and self-righteous aims. And I don't mean everybody. We are using religion again to fulfill our self-righteous aims. I want this. I need this. If this goes away, I'll be happy. If that comes, I'll be happy. If I get this, I'll be happy. If I don't have that, I'll be happy. Listen to the key word. It's always I. And that contradicts all religious doctrines, because all religious doctrines talks about destroying the selfish mind. That is what all religious doctrines are about, to destroy the selfish mind. So if we're using religion to destroy the selfish mind, then it's the correct way. Why? That is the purpose of why all holy beings have spoken. Now in Buddhism, we have a reliance in the beginning. In the beginning, mind you, so I want a lot of the people not to get excited. In the beginning, there's a reliance on the Guru. You go for advice to the teacher, you listen to the teacher, and you ask questions, and you get answers from the teacher. And you're supposed to take those answers, go home and do your homework, which means transform your mind. You don't get a Guru because of the status or the name, or he has a high position, or he's a Rinpoche. And he wears a big yellow hat when he walks in. And he sits on a big throne. You don't follow a teacher because of his status and name and position, irregardless of how high or whatever he is. Because that doesn't matter. But in Buddhism, we have a reliance on a spiritual teacher. And what is that reliance? That reliance is your whole life has been engaged in worldly concerns. Position, power, money, family. That's okay. Your whole life has been engaged in worldly concerns. The teacher's life is supposed to have been engaged in non-worldly concerns. Non-worldly. When I use supposed, I'm including myself in. I'm not talking about big lamas like the Dalai Lama or Achans and all that. I'm not talking, they're definitely spiritual. Myself is the one in question. So when you have a teacher, they're supposed to have been involved in non-worldly motivations and non-worldly aspirations. So therefore, they should have studied the Dharma, they should have meditated on the Dharma, and most important, not just study and understand like a scholar, most important, their minds should have transformed from focusing on the I to focusing on others, to talking about self-benefit, to talking about other people's benefit. So a spiritual quality of a teacher, most important, is they must be concerned about others more than themselves. And therefore, when we have a spiritual alliance with our teacher, a spiritual reliance and alliance with our teacher, the important point here is not to be dependent on your teacher or a guru fanatic. The importance here is to learn from a teacher that you have found that can convey the words of spiritual change in your minds. Someone that can speak to you, to your heart, and explain to you what is and what is not in a clear, logical way, based on the scriptures, based on study, not based on what the person has made up or their own bias, based on the scriptures, but translated into your language, your level, and your attitude. And when those words hit your heart and they move something and they help you to transform something, then that is your spiritual teacher. That is definitely your spiritual teacher. Why? That teacher teaches you how to touch your spirit, how to go inside of yourself. So in Buddhism, you have a reliance on the spiritual teacher to bring you to a certain level. When they bring you to a certain level, although you respect your teacher and you love your teacher and you very much appreciate, you practice intently. You can go to a cave, you can go to a city, you can go wherever, you practice very intently and you gain realizations. So therefore, a real spiritual teacher, and this one listen very carefully, the minute they meet you and they make a bond, they make you independent. So sometimes they may not contact you for months or years. Sometimes they contact you for days or not for many days. Why? According to your level and what you need, they will make you spiritually independent. That is their job. A guru's job is not to make you dependent on him or her. A guru's job is to make you spiritually independent. So the teacher will use many methods to train your mind up, to train your thoughts up, and to train your independence up. What kind of independence? Not to work or to eat or to buy a car. Not that type of independence. An independence like this. No matter what situation happens, no matter how things are good or bad, your mind will remain stable. It will not be affected. And your mind will concentrate on benefiting others. It will bring you to that level. Your mind will never change. Number two, a sign of a correct spiritual alliance or reliance. Number two is, no matter how difficult things become, no matter how odds look not in your favor, you will not give up. Your mind will remain steadfast. You will not run away. You will not withdraw in any way, shape, or form. Your mind will remain steadfast. Why? Because your motive is to benefit many. Number three, another sign of good spiritual reliance or alliance is no matter how much obstacles arise, or dependency, or how much negative or negativities arise, you are never fazed. You may seem fazed, You may seem upset or unhappy, but ultimately, deep down inside, you are not fazed. In fact, it pushes you to be even more determined to fulfill your goals of benefiting others. Those are the 3 types of qualities you can examine in your mind if your spiritual reliance and alliance with your teacher has been fruitful. So therefore, that's very important. Now, we're not talking about money. Some people say, oh, I followed this guru, I did the prayers, I did Setra practice, I did Tsongkhapa's practice, I still didn't hit the 4D lottery. But that's not what you met the guru for. That's not why you met the guru. Some people say, oh, but I met this guru, I did the prayers, I did the practice. My kids are still not behaving in school. I've heard that. You may think, oh, that sounds funny. I've heard that hundreds of times. Rinpoche, I did Tsongkhapa's mantra and my kid is still naughty. How? I told him, look, this is not a tatika, I don't know. You're doing something that your kid doesn't respect. I don't know. This is not tatika, I really don't know. And people come and say to me, oh, you know what? I've done Setra's practice and my business still doesn't move up. How? What's the secret? And I say this over and over. If I knew, why would I tell you? I would make the money and run. Because Setra and all that is not for money. It's not for kids. It's not for all that. It is for you to transform your mind. When you transform your mind, everybody around you sees the change. You affect everybody around you. People will support you. People will love you. People will care for you. People will follow you. People will respect you. And what you have to say will carry weight. I always say like this, check your spiritual practice. How many people have you influenced with your spiritual thoughts? How many lives have you changed? If you have changed 0 to none or next to none, that means your spiritual practice is not very firm and not very stable. It can be just talk. So we have to check ourselves. How many people are we influencing? How many people are we helping? How many Muslims are we helping and influencing to become better Muslims, better Hindus, better Christians, better Buddhists? That's the secret here. How do you influence others to be better? When they see you change and they see you transform and they see you become a different person. Then everybody else will transform and change.